Hi everyone, and welcome to the Velvet Lounge. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the items that I believe are the easiest sells for the bigger money versus just like $30, $40, $50 here and there that you can resell on eBay or in Facebook groups. I prefer to sell honestly higher priced items on eBay just because eBay is there as a moderator if you ever have an issue. But obviously, you could definitely sell these in Facebook groups. And what I suggest if you do that is that you make it clear as to what your parameters are for the sale. Another thing you can do is post your links to your auctions in those eBay groups if they allow it. So make sure you know what the rules are. I do that all the time with the groups that I'm a member of, and it definitely pays off because I will immediately sometimes receive a bid because those people you're in a Facebook group because they're specializing in something, whether it be coins or crystal or models or whatever it is. You're in certain Facebook groups just to get that speciality. So I want to first of all ask you guys to please share my videos with other people who are interested in reselling or learning, or who are interested in knowing what they should buy for resale or how to source. And other tips and tricks when it comes to reselling. We're a variety channel, so we do some cooking videos, some general commentary. We're out on the road a lot, so you can see the antics of the family out there and our cute little dog. And please check out the video of her being a cow whisperer because she thinks she's a cow, a cat, and a duck, as well as being a dog, which is her main thing. So I love the fact that she's species confused. So let's get on with this video. So anyway, this is a large, it's not a giant, it's actually a large natural amethyst cluster. It was part of a geode crystal cluster specimen. And this weighed, as you noted, 6,803 grams, which is approximately 15 pounds, a little bit, maybe over 15 pounds. The great thing about this is these are easy sales. Okay, so there is a catch. Sometimes these may not be the easiest items to find. The small little geodes or crystals that are about this size, they sell. And this is not like a tiny crystal. This one probably weighs almost a pound. But people who are really serious large specimen collectors, they really want the oversized specimens and they will pay up for them. So this one I acquired for about $8 and it sold for almost $200. And the shipping was only $14.64 because I was able to do this using, I believe I mailed this like priority mail, but it was like in a regional box, either region A or B. And I talked about using region boxes in the past. You really need to check out those prices. The only catch to using regional boxes is you can only get them if you order them from the United States Postal Service. So you just go to USPS.gov and their website will come up, or even type in order USPS shipping supplies, and then you'll be able to go there and for free they have shipping supplies. So we talked about regional boxes. I think I was able to mail this technically for like maybe $10 because I used a regional box. And I did, because look at all the points on this. So what I had to do is I had to, do some extra wrapping and double boxing. And it's on its way to a new home. So let's see. The next item that I have is a hotel bell. This is a really large bell. It weighed, I want to say maybe 2 pounds, maybe a tiny, I want to say maybe 2.5 pounds. And it's thick, and I don't remember the exact measurements, but I think it's like maybe 7 or 8 inches in diameter by like maybe 6 or 7 inches tall. So it's not a tiny bell. It has the original paint on it. I thought it was odd that it was like this black and white, and it's an Art Deco design. And I had 6 bids on this. Honestly, I didn't even know I had 6 bids on it. I thought that I had put the wrong price on it, because when I originally listed it, I listed it for, I believe, $39.99 or $49.99. And because of the 6 bids, it sold for $98. And the shipping on that, I charged $18.19, but I was able to get it into I believe it was a medium flat rate box. And so obviously there was like a few dollars made on the shipping and handling there. And this came from a project that I worked on, so it actually cost me nothing. This is a Baccarat crystal decanter stopper, and these were special issue for the Remy Martin. They had like a I think I don't know if I showed you guys that, but they had this casket case to hold like their special edition bottle, and of Louis VIII. And so in that casket case set, you received a booklet, as well as, and it's not even a booklet, it's like a tiny small hardcover book that was about this size. It was small. And you also received this crystal decanter stopper. And all of them had their own little spaces. And when I looked them up, I saw that people were selling them separately. So I was like, hey, why don't I try that? I'm glad I did, because I was going to sell everything together. The casket case sold for, I'm going to say almost $100. I want to say like 89, 90 something. And this stopper by itself sold for $52.99 plus $9.95 for shipping and handling. And I think I was able to do this first class because it definitely weighed under a pound. And, you know, I did, you know, I put it in a special little satchel, as you can see, but I also boxed it and then put it inside of a bubble mailer, an eBay bubble mailer to be exact. Remember that if you own a store, eBay actually gives you free mailing supplies up to a certain dollar amount, depending upon how much you pay for your store subscription. And they always send you an email every month to let you know that it's there. So that I actually, okay, so the funny thing about this Remy Martin set is I sold, like I said, the casket case for about close to $100. I sold a stopper for $52.99. The book I'm going to actually probably put with one of my junk lots that I'll be selling in the future. And that whole situation was actually going to be thrown in the dumpster. So I saved it from being thrown out, and I paid nothing for it. So I rescued. Oh, I want to go back here. So this is a very interesting story. I have to make an adjustment so you can see it. Once again, I'm going to be talking about some of the Elks Club pins. So this Elks Club pin sold for $18.99 plus $2.99 for shipping and handling, which actually was first class. It was $2.66. And what I do, even though this pin is probably the size of a $50, is I actually still do a really good job packaging these things up so that when people can get them, I didn't just throw it in an envelope. So I actually have some special mailers that I use, and I will show you one of those. And I actually have cards that I attach them to so that when they're received, they're perfect for people who collect or people who just want organization. So I actually put them in, these are Ziploc at the top, and they're like made of almost a craft paper. And inside they have a plastic liner so that, your items are protected against weather. As you can see, sort of shiny in there. And then I attached them to a special card that I had made via Vistaprint. And I label them. And all of that goes into a eBay bubble mailer. And that's how I mail them. So that's why, I could pay a lot less for postage, but that's why it's $2.66. I'm always going to at least pay for first class. But once again, a lot of pins that I purchased for $30. In that lot, there had to be close to 1,000 pins, maybe more. And, a tiny little pin can make you almost $20. So you want to watch out and look out for those bundle opportunities. And that is something I actually purchased at a flea market, and I rarely go to the flea market, so that was a good flea market day. The funny thing is we rarely go to the flea market, but every time we do go, we seem to hit a really good purchase load. And I don't know if it's because we don't go as often, or is it because we go with our expectations being just having fun, looking at stuff, learning about stuff, and then we happen to, hit upon good deals. I don't know. I think it's just luck. This is another item that sells constantly. Every time we list them, they sell. But you want certain eras. So even though this box had a little bit of damage on it, which I did describe, this sold for $59.99, and the shipping was $19.95, and I actually did the regional thing again. So because I sent it in a regional shipping box, I believe it was only like $10 to send it. And this is a World War II Gunsies Sangyo Jag Panther SD KFZ high-tech model. So it's actually a model, and it's in the 1/35th scale. So all the parts and pieces for this model were in the, as you can see down here, were in the bags, sealed. It's never been used. The instructions were included, and this is something that we were able to sell. And we actually have, I want to say we have like maybe 7 or 8 of them left. And I even sent them a free small model because we have like 3 or 4 small models, which I thought I had one behind me, but I don't. And I just threw one of those in for giggles and ha-has. And honestly, I was like, I'm going to try this at $59.99, but I already knew in my mind that I was probably going to lower it to $39.99, but I never had to do that. So that's the other thing, is don't undersell yourself. There's nothing wrong with trying out a price to see if you can get it, especially if you don't see that item listed often or at all on eBay or any other resale site. That's a good thing, because that means there's very few in the market, or it's a rare item and you may be the first person on the market to put it out there. So you want to get what you can get, and you can always revise your price when you go to relist. Like, there's no police officer that's going to throw you in handcuffs for not doing that. My next, and where did I get that? We got all of these models from another project that we worked on, and I believe we paid a total of $20 for 8 models that are all brand new in the boxes. And this is what they would call new, old, vintage stock. So this was actually created, I believe, in the 1960s, maybe 70s. And I don't know why. Some people collect models, they never put them together. But the good thing is, in the future, when they come up, you're able to get them in almost factory issued condition, and they sell for much more than they did when they were originally new. So the reason I included this little item is because, and it only sold for $10, but it's another item we did not pay anything for. We actually came across a bunch of camera equipment during another project that we were working on, and bam, there you go. So the interesting thing about this is initially it was, I believe, going to sell for about $20 plus the $8.95 shipping and handling, but I actually canceled the sale because I noticed that the camera, and we knew that the camera seemed heavy for some reason, but this time I was bound and determined to get into the battery terminal. So I actually took a screwdriver and got it open and found that the original batteries from whenever this was brand new were still inside, and they had fused themselves with the acids and whatever into the cavity of this camera. So I actually wrote to the person who had the winning bid on it. I told him what happened, and that I don't want to sell something that's not what he would expect, and that I apologized and da 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 da. And here's all your money back, no questions asked. I was the one canceling it, so there were no questions. He wrote me back and he stated, I wish that hadn't happened, but I just want to purchase this to use as a display item in my studio. He actually has some sort of studio. And he's like, I don't mind the battery thing. He's like, you can leave them in there when you ship it, or if you can take them out or whatever. And so he ended up buying this for $10 plus the $8.95 shipping. I actually was able to ship it first class, so it was like maybe $4 and something. So it just goes to show that you need to have good customer service. Be honest with your buyers. Issues happen, especially when you sell hundreds or thousands or tens or hundreds of thousands of items. Stuff happens, stuff breaks. We always inspect our items before we send them out, so that if there is an issue, we are the ones that discover it, not our buyers, especially because we do a lot of vintage, antique kind of things. So the next item that we sold was this Sony PlayStation Gray Console SCPH-9001 DualShock PlayStation. It's a new game system, and this is once again new, old, vintage stock. I have no idea. It is so bizarre. This was brand new, never opened. It was almost like someone was punishing their kid and then forgot to give them the toy later on. And so, we were shocked to find that we had this brand new system in the box. The original box that was not, as you can see, in bad condition at all. And this is something that we ended up shipping to Santiago, Chile. And so it shows the shipping as $24.95. The shipping actually was about $80+. So he was willing to pay the $80+ for the shipping. And the price actually, I think I had it originally listed for $189.99. And he asked me, through eBay, if he could get a better price. And so when someone sends you a message about an item, and they actually have this button when you receive it as as a seller, where you can make them an offer. So he was asking for a discount, so I offered back, including the discount he wanted, and brought the price down to $174.99. Plus, he still was going to pay $80+ for the shipping and handling. He was so happy to get that. And, we shipped this off to him, and, he was thanking us for 2 days, which was great. But you never know what's out there. I know there's a lot of used systems that don't sell as much, but once in a while, this is just a fluke, I think, that we came across this one. And once again, this was something that we acquired through a project that we worked on, and we paid $20 for it. So tons of profit all over the place. Once again, look for, these are what I consider 7 easy items to find and resell, except for this PlayStation, only because it was brand new. You can find them out there used. So that's the easy part, is there are tons of used game systems. Just imagine how popular all of these systems were back in the day. That means there's a ton of them sitting in someone's garage or somewhere, waiting to be rescued. Also, vintage camera equipment sells really well. The prices do vary from, maybe $10 to $100+. So what I would do is kind of just, decide if, I get it for free, if I get it in a bundle like we did, and we only paid like a couple dollars for it, or it was free, as for us it was absolutely free, then I would actually, consider whether or not that's something you want to invest in. Models. Models are really popular, especially in other countries. So you want to look for the older models. So I would say any models that are 1970s and older, those are usually the ones that sell. Some are more popular. So the really popular ones you will not get as much money for. And that's simply because the market is flooded with them, but there are still plenty of rare ones out there. Also, looking for semi-precious stones such as geodes or giant crystals. The larger, the better. Size totally matters in this case. So, and color. So the clear ones do not sell as well as those that have color. So think of the colors of the rainbow. That's what sells. Purples sell really well. Yellows are kind of rare, like the citrines. Aquamarines, so that's like the green color, greenish blue, which are really hard to find. So that's what you're really looking for. Red is incredible if you can find it. Also, crystal still sells. But crystal is all about the name brand. So you want Baccarat, Lalique, Waterford. Those are items that we find we don't find Lalique that often, so let me slow my roll right there. But we do find Baccarat, I would say 2 to 3 times a year. We find Waterford all of the time, partially because of the area of the United States that we live in. Look for oddities, like that giant hotel desk bell. Like anything that's a normal, that you would find in a normal size, but now it's like gigantic, and it's made of the same material. So if this was plastic, obviously we would not be talking about it, but this is made the same way you would make a small bell, except for it's huge. I notice that oversized items that are, cousins of their normal sized relatives do really well, and they also need to be in good working condition, which obviously this is. And once again, as we talked about, collections. So if someone, you go to a tag sale, you go to a flea market, you go to an estate sale, maybe you're out there doing private buying and selling from different people. If you notice that they have in this case, an entire collection of Elks Club memorabilia, and it's all small enough for you to deal with, like thousands of pins, then what you want to do is try to get all of it for one money. You don't want to, and what I suggest, and this is just what I do, I don't sit there and pick and touch and talk about, and how's your dog, and wow, look at this color, and oh, I remember that, or I don't do any of that. I act almost uninterested. Because honestly, if I don't buy that item, I have more than enough inventory. And I have so many sources where we get things that we pay nothing for, that for me not to pay for something isn't a big deal, even if it's something that, I wanted initially. So, if you act uninterested, and the other thing, obviously, is try to get them to throw out a number. If they're hesitating on throwing out a number, that usually means one of two things. One, which is the worst case scenario, they know what they have and they want an arm and a leg as well as the Holy Grail for it. Or two, which is the best case scenario, they just want to get rid of the items. They don't care what they have, and the number that you throw out is probably the number they're going to take. Usually, in my case, that's what happens. And the reason that happens for me is because I don't haggle. Like, I already know that this is what I want to pay. I don't tell them this, but I'm in the resale business, so I'm not buying the stuff personally for myself. So if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. So you have to know when to walk away. So those are my tips for the day. Those are some of the 7 easy items that you can acquire out there that will be a little bit different from other people in the market that are selling the standard everyday things or clothing or whatever it is they're selling. That can definitely make you money. You'll make more money and do less work. And the reason I say less work is because if you can make, $100 selling a hotel bell, then how many shirts would you have to sell to make that same amount of money, plus make a profit on your shipping and handling? You would have to sell at least 4 shirts. So think of all the work that you have to go into listing and, packaging, and then, just the whole situation, dealing with 4 different potential buyers versus one buyer buying one item for one bigger amount of money. So when you're out there, buying and selling, these are just some of the things to think about. Please leave below in the comments what some of your ideas are and some of your advice for selling. I mean, if you disagree with me on anything, please. I'm always trying to learn myself. I always consider myself a continuous learner. I would love any suggestions that you have. If you have any ideas about, other videos or other information you would like me to share with you, please let me know. We offer a new service, which is through our our eBay account. And we will actually review certain eBay stores. I think we have reviewed 3 or 4 so far, and we've put that out there. I want to say it's been out there for like a couple of months. And so, we don't have a bunch of people who are begging for us to review their store. We're really not in the business of selling you books and services and, come join my Patreon page, and that's really how I make a living. We don't do that. We really just are here to do this for fun, but because at one point we were getting so many questions, we decided to try that to see if it would help, and we're happy to say a few people did accept our help, and we go above and beyond. Like, even if they still want information today, if we can help them, we will. So I would just like to say have a happy weekend, and make sure you're safe because this 4th of July is coming up soon. And don't drink and drive, and watch all the fireworks you can, and hopefully you'll have some nice relaxation and get energized, and maybe you'll hit, a couple sales or something. But anyway, take care. Thank you for checking out the Velvet Lounge. Please remember to hit the bell so that you will get a notification whenever we post a new video, as well as, if you haven't, subscribe so that you can be entered into some of our future drawings. And thumbs up!